seal of the ancient friendship, new sworn twixt your sires in their boyhood, then when they learned the spear to guide and strove in the wrestle. So he spoke, recalling other times, and regretted, and to the Argives' word consented the strength of Pelides. He on the shoulder white of his son, with a gesture of parting, laid his fateful hand, and spoke from his prescient spirit. Pyrrhus, go. No mightier guide couldst thou hope into battle, opening the foeman's ranks, than the hero, stern Diomedes. Noble that rugged heart, thy father's friend and his father's. Journey through all wide Greece, seek her prytanes, schools and palistras, traverse ocean's rocks and the cities that dream on his margin, Phocian dales, Aetolia's cliffs, and Arcades' pastures. Never a second man wilt thou find, but alone Diomedes. Pyrrhus, follow his counsels always, losing thy father. If in this battle I fall, and fate has denied to me Troia. Pyrrhus, be like thy father in virtue, thou canst not excel him. Noble be in peace, invincible, brave in the battle, stern and calm to thy foe, to the suppliant merciful. Mortal favour and wrath, as thou walk'st, heed never. Son of Achilles, always thy will and the right impose on thy friend and thy foeman. Count not life nor death, defeat nor triumph, Pyrrhus. Only thy soul regard, and the gods in thy joy or thy labour. Pyrrhus heard, and erect with a stride that was rigid and stately, forth with Asirois went from his sire to the joy of the battle. Little he heeded the word of death that the god in our bosom spoke from the lips of Achilles, but deemed at sunset returning, slaying Halamus, Paris, or dangerous mighty Aeneas, proudly to lay at his father's feet the spoils of the foeman. But in his lair alone, the godlike doomed Pelides turned to the door of his tent, and was striding forth to the battle, when, from her inner chamber, Briseis, parting the curtain, long had she stood there spying and waiting her lonely occasion, came and caught and held his hand, like a creeper detaining vainly a moment the deathward stride of the kings of the forest. Tarry a while, Achilles. Not yet have the war horns clamoured, nor have the scouts streamed yet from Xanthus, fierily running. Lose a moment for her, who has only thee under heaven. Nay, had war sounded, thou yet wouldst squander that moment, Achilles, hearkening a woman's fears and the voice of a dream in the midnight. Art thou not gentle, even as terrible, Lion of Hellas? Others have whispered the deeds of thy wrath. We have heard, but not seen it. Marvelling much at their pallor and awe, we have listened and wondered. Never with thrall or slave girl or captive saw I thee angered, hero, nor any humble heart ever trembled to near thee. Pardoning rather our many faults and our failures in service, lightly thou layedst thy yoke on us, kind as the clasp of a lover, sparing the weak as thou breakest the mighty, O godlike Achilles. Only thy equals have felt all the dread of the death god within thee. We have presumed and have played with the strength at which nations have trembled. Lo, thou hast leaned thy mane to the clutch of the boys and the maidens. But to Briseis white-armed made answer smiling Achilles. Something sorely thou needst, for thou flatterest long, O Briseis. Tell me, O woman, thy fear or thy dream, that my touch may dispel it. White-armed net of bliss, slipped down from the gold Aphrodite. And to Achilles answered the captive white Briseis. Long have they vexed my soul in the tents of the Greeks, O Achilles, telling of Thetis thy mother, who bore thee in caves of the ocean, clasped by a mortal, and of her fear from the threats of the ancients, weavers of doom who play with our hopes and smile at our passions, painting time with the red of our hearts on the web they have woven. How on the ocean's bosom she hid thee, in vine-tangled Skyros, clothed like a girl among girls, with the daughters of King Lycomedes. Art thou not fairer than woman's beauty, yet great as Apollo, fearing Paris' shafts and the anger of Delian Phoebus? Now, in the night has a vision 3 times besieged me from heaven. Over the sea in my dream an argent bow was extended. Nearing, I saw a terror august over moonlit waters, cloud and a fear and a face that was young and lovely and hostile. Then 3 times I heard arise, in the grandiose silence, still was the sky, and still was the land, and still were the waters. Echoing, a mighty voice, "Take back, O king, what thou gavest. Strength, take thy strong man. Sea, take thy wave, till the warfare eternal need him again, to thunder through Asia's plains to the Ganges." That fell silent. But nearer the beautiful terror approached me. Clang I heard of the argent bow, and I gazed on Apollo. Shrilly I cried, it was thee that the shaft of the heavens had yearned for, thee that it sought like a wild thing in anger, straight at its quarry, quivering into thy heel. I awoke and found myself trembling, held thee safe in my arms, yet hardly believed that thou livest. Lo, in the night came this dream. On the morn thou arisest for battle. But to Briseis white-armed made answer the golden Achilles. This was a dream indeed, O princess, daughter of Briseis. Will it restrain Achilles from fight, the lion from preying? Come, thou hast heard of my prowess, and knowest what man is Achilles. Deemst thou so near my end? Or does Polyxena vex thee, jealousy shaping thy dreams to frighten me back from her capture? Passionate, vexed, Briseis smiting his arm with her fingers, yet with a smile half pleased, made answer to mighty Achilles. Think'st thou I fear thee at all? I am brave, and will chide thee, and threaten. See that thou recklessly throw not, Achilles, thy life into battle, hurting this body, my world. Nor venture soul midst thy foemen, leaving thy shielders behind as oft thou art wont in thy war rage, lured by thy tempting gods who seek their advantage to slay thee. Fighting divinely, careless of all but thy spear and thy foeman. Cover thy limbs with thy shield, speed slowly, restraining thy courses. Dost thou not know all the terrible void and cold desolation once again my life must become, if I lose thee, Achilles? Twice then thus wilt thou smite me, O hero, a desolate woman? I will not stay behind on an earth that is empty and kingless. Into the grave I will leap, through the fire I will burn, I will follow down into Hades' depths, or wherever thy footsteps go clanging, hunting thee always. Didst thou not seize me here for thy pleasure, stronger there by my love as thou than I here, O Achilles? Thou shalt not dally alone with Polyxena, safe in the shadows. But to Briseis answered the hero, mighty Pelides, holding her delicate hands like gathered flowers in his bosom, pressing her passionate mouth like a rose that trembles with beauty. There then follow me, even as I would have drawn thee, O woman, voice that chimes with my soul, and hands that are eager for service. Beautiful spoil, beloved of my foeman, perfect Briseis. But for the dreams that come to us mortals, sleeping or waking, shadows are these from our souls, and who shall discern what they figure? Fears from the heart speak voiced like Zeus, take shape as Apollo. But were they truer than Delphi's cavern voice, or Dodona's moan that seems wind in his oaks immemorable? How should they alter fate that the stern gods have planned from the first, where the earth was unfashioned, shapeless the gyre of the sun? For dream or for oracle adverse, why should man swerve from the path of his feet? The gods have invented only one way for a man through the world, O my slave girl Briseis, valiant to be, and noble and truthful, and just to the humble. Only one way for a woman, to love and serve and be faithful. This observe. Thy task in thy destiny, noble or fallen. Time and result are the gods. With these things be not thou troubled. So he spoke, and kissed her lips, and released her, and parted. Out from the tent he strode, and into his chariot leaping, seized the reins, and shouted his cry, and drove with a far-borne sound of wheels, with the clamour of hooves, and the neigh of the war steeds. Swift through the line of the tents, and forth from the heart of the leaguer. Over the causeway Troyward thundered the wheels of Achilles. After him, crashing loud with a fierce and resonant rumour, chieftains impetuous, prone to the melee, and swift at the war cry, came, who long held from the lust of the spear and the joy of the war din, rushed over earth like hawks, released through the air. A shouting limitless rolled behind, for nations followed each war cry. Lords renowned of the northern hills, and the plains and the coastlands, many a Dorian, many a Thean, many a Hellene, names now lost to the ear, though then reputed immortal. Night has swallowed them. Zeus has devoured the light of his children. Drawn are they back to his bosom vast, whence they came in their fierceness, thinking to conquer the earth and dominate time and his ages. Nor on their left, less thick, came numerous even as the sea sands, forth from the line of the leaguer that skirted the far-sounding waters, ranked behind Tydeus' son and the Spartan bright Menelaus, Ithaca's chief, and Ippius, Idomeneus, lord of the Cretans, Acamas, Nestor, Neleus' son, and the brave Ephialtes, Prothous, Megas, Leitus the bold, and the king Prothoino, wise Alcestis' son, and the Lemnian, stern Philoctetes. These and unnumbered warlike captains marching the Argives. Last, in his spacious car, drove, shaping the tread of his armies, even as a shepherd who follows his flock to the green of the pastures, Atreus' far-famed son, the monarch, great Agamemnon. They on the plain moved out, and gazing far over the pastures, saw behind Xanthus, rolling with dust like a cloud full of thunder, ominous, steadily nearing, shouting their war cry, the Trojans.